guys, welcome to the Prelims Power Play discussion of 20th of October 2022. In this video, we will discuss the top 5 questions from the current affairs of 20th of October 2022, guys. But also to help you to understand what other dimensions we need to prepare the current affairs, so that we are able to solve various other questions related to the same topic, guys. So let us begin, guys. The first topic which I have selected today for the current affairs question is basically on the news item which came in the Hindu, saving the vultures of Tamil Nadu. Guys, we all know vultures are very important for our ecosystem because they play the role of scavengers, so they clean the ecosystem. However, in the last 20 years we have seen there has been a decline in the number of vultures, and this is because of the use of non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs in veterinary, in animal husbandry. And when these animals die and these vultures feed upon the carcasses of those animals which has this non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs which are toxic, these vultures die. So in that context, I frame a question. Let us read the question. Consider the following non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs: diclofenac, nimesulide and ketoprofen. Which of the above drugs are responsible for crash in the vulture population? Guys, I am giving you 10 seconds to answer this question. Please answer the question in the comment box. So guys, the answer to the question is answer D. Answer to the question is answer D, 1, 2 and 3. Okay, all of the above. Guys, let me tell you, generally in science-based question in the UPSC, what has been observed in the last 10 to 11 years, that most of the question, 99% of the question, answer is all of the above. Here you can see in the news item, it clearly says that experts agree that some of the non-steroidal drugs like diclofenac, nimesulide and ketoprofen are responsible for the drastic decline in the vulture population. Guys, let me tell you one more point here. Already UPSC has asked a question on diclofenac. So this topic is very important. And I can tell you, UPSC has a habit of asking same kind of questions but in a different way. You see, the same question which has come in the UPSC, diclofenac, I have framed in a different manner, but I have used the same knowledge. So Pakka 1 has to be the answer, because if you solve the previous year question, 1 has to be the answer. And generally science based question, the answer is all of the above. But I'm not denying the role of the knowledge also. You can see here it is clearly written in the current affairs. If you have been reading the DPN, you can clearly answer the question. I have covered this topic yesterday in the DPN very exhaustively. Let us read the second question, guys. The second question, let us see. Consider the following. Himalayan Girfaun vulture, long-billed vulture, slender-billed vulture, white-backed vulture. Which of the following vultures are found in India? So guys, whenever you study any species in news, I can tell you, two things you need to prepare about that species. First of all, what is the IUCN status of that species, and is the species found in India, and where it is found in India. So the answer to this question here is again D. 1, 2, 3, 4. Guys, 9 types of vultures are found in India. 9 species of vultures are found in India. These are basically king vulture, Eurasian vulture, Himalayan Girfaun vulture, long-billed vulture, slender-billed vulture, white-backed vulture, Egyptian vulture and bearded vulture. So these are the 9 varieties of vulture. I am giving you an assignment. How many of these vultures are critically endangered? They can ask this question. That how many of these vultures is critically endangered. Because IUCN status is also very important. So they can frame like this: all the vultures which are found in India are critically endangered. Will that statement be a right statement or wrong statement? Let me see how many of you are able to answer, guys. So it is not. All are not critically endangered. So you have to find out how many of them are critically endangered. Let us read the third question. Which I have framed on the same news item. You see, from the ecological point of view, which of the following is a good link between Eastern Ghat and Western Ghat? Let us read the question. So this is a PYQ. Why I have framed this? Why basically I have repeated this PYQ here? I will explain you. I'll just explain you. So the answer to this question is Okay, is it Satyamangalam? Is it Nalamala forest? It is Nagarhole forest, or is it Seshachalam forest? Guys, the answer is option A, Satyamangalam forest. And why did I frame this question? Why did I pick this question from the previous year? You see, in this news item, they have mentioned few of the tiger reserves and few of the biosphere reserves. You can see here they have clearly mentioned out Mudumulai Tiger Reserve and Satyamangalam Tiger Reserve. Okay, and also the Nilgiri Biosphere Reserve. Okay, Nilgiri Biosphere Reserve. Guys, these reserves or these tiger reserves or these biosphere reserves are always asked in the UPSC in some way or the other. Okay, so when you see, okay, various parks which come under the Nilgiri National Biosphere Reserve, okay, this is a very common question. UPSC has asked many questions regarding this, so please prepare these biosphere reserves which are in news properly. Okay, so you should prepare Mudumalai Tiger Reserve, and you should also prepare the Nilgiri Biosphere Reserve, and you should also prepare the Satyamangalam Tiger Reserve. Okay, so this is, you see how geography based question can be prepared, okay, from the same news item. You see the variety of the questions, news item is same. Okay, you see how many varieties of questions we can frame from the single news item. Okay, they can also ask you, okay, to which of the following is basically critically endangered. They can ask you this also. Okay, they can ask you about the vulture conservation plan. Okay, they can ask you about the vulture conservation plan. Okay, can you tell me which place in India has a dedicated breeding center for the vulture? Which place in India has? Let me see how many of you can answer in the comment box. Okay, so let's go, guys, let's go and let's see the next question. So the next question which I have framed is on the news item, biogas is a sustainable solution to curbing pollution and improving livelihoods and enhancing the quality of life in cities. Guys, we all know that urban cities are facing the problem of pollution. Okay, but a lot of this pollution, okay, particularly the solid waste pollution, can be converted into basically biogas. Okay, biogas. Okay, so let us try to see what is the question here. Okay, biogas is a renewable fuel produced from anaerobic, okay, digestion of organic feedstock. Okay, is composed of which of the following gases? Okay, is it methane? Is it carbon dioxide? Is it hydrogen sulfide? Is it moisture? So guys, from our common sense we can easily make out, okay, biogas has methane and biogas must also have carbon dioxide. So at least 1 and 2 it should have 1 and 2. Also because it has methane and biogas has, okay, this comes from organic feedstock, so it has a high probability of basically moisture also. It is a high probability of a moisture also. So 1, 2, 4 will definitely be the answer. 1, 2, 4 definitely will be the answer. Okay, so let us see the options. Okay, so I have given C also. Okay, I can see C also. So without knowing 4 it is very difficult to answer. But here again we will apply our common sense, okay, optional elimination technique, that, okay, generally it has been seen whenever this anaerobic decomposition takes place, okay, there is a kind of pungent smell comes from that. Okay, pungent smell. Suppose you have, okay, in your home also, if suppose, okay, any organic compound, okay, starts decomposing, okay, so generally we'll have that pungent smell, and that is basically the hydrogen sulfide. Okay, so hydrogen sulfide is also part of the biogas. So the answer is 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, here you can use optional elimination also. Generally science based question, answer will be all of the above. So the answer is option D. Let me see how many of you have got the answer right. Okay, let us see the last question. Guys, recently there was a news item that because of the climate change, because of the increasing carbon dioxide in the basically atmosphere, there is going to be more collisions, more satellite collisions in the lower Earth orbit. Guys, so there is a scientific term for that. Okay, a scenario in which the density of objects, okay, in the lower Earth orbit is high. So when more and more okay, objects basically they occupy the lower Earth orbit, okay, it may lead to collisions between the object, and which may lead to more debris, more space debris. Guys, space debris is becoming a big problem, okay, because more and more countries are sending their satellites, okay, into the space, and space science is basically emerging, and India and other countries also sending a lot of satellites. Okay, so there is a problem of space debris. How to tackle this space debris? And it might happen that there might be a cascading effect, and all the satellites would collapse with the debris, and they would collapse. Okay, so that is a very big danger which we all need to prepare for. Okay, and this entire syndrome where the space debris can collide with the satellites and can destroy the satellites, this entire is known by us basically a scientific term. What is that scientific term? Is it the space adaptation syndrome? It is the Kessler syndrome? Is it the Bekenstein-Hawkins theory, or it is the superimposition theory, guys? So the answer to this question is basically Kessler syndrome. Answer to this question is Kessler syndrome. Kessler syndrome basically explains this collision of satellites with the space debris. So increasing space debris in the space can lead to dangers in the future. Okay, so guys, I hope you like the video and you like the question answer discussion. If you want me to continue this, please give a thumbs up, please share with your friends, and please hit the like button. Okay, please hit the like button, guys. I can tell you, if you follow this regularly, if you read the DPN regularly, okay, no one can prevent you from basically cracking the prelims examination next year, guys. Last year a lot of questions have come from the PPP directly, and I'm not just here to solve few of the questions. Okay, I'm here to also tell you what should be your lines of preparation, how to identify, okay, important topics from the current affairs, so that you can focus on them more, which have a high probability to appear in the examination. Guys, thank you, bye bye, take care.